And it is so good to see you guys. I have not been on here in almost a month, and it is just an honor to hang out with my boy Dan Borrero. What's going on, my friend?
As always, brother, the honor's mine being here and sharing the screen with you, man.
Good to see
Same
you,
old
bro.
thing though. What's going on? What do you want to talk about tonight, Chris? How about that?
I want to talk about. I know. A few weeks ago we talked about having a team, and I know even though I'm out of it, right? I haven't been to a house since shit the whole month of April. I haven't been to a house, but I bought two houses. As a matter of fact, I'm buying a house tomorrow. And then, I mean, sometimes I just look back and the people that I'm surrounded by, man, I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff if I didn't have a good team.
It's about creating a team and realizing that a lot of times those team members get swapped out. A lot of times they force you to get rid of them and swap them out. But it's all about making sure all the personalities fit. Between your contractor, your attorney, your expediter, your photographer, your realtor, your plumber, your electrician, your termite inspector, your engineer report guy. There's just so many people part of that team.
It's a lot, man. And I'm thinking, wow, Dan, when did you come to the realization that, you know what? Well, you still do a lot yourself. Wow, why is it that you do so much? How is it? Even when we were on with my guy a minute ago, he was like, man, all I do is paperwork. I don't do nothing.
I It's funny, man. This week, that's all I did was paperwork. I didn't leave my office to go to any job sites, but they're kind of winded down. Um, so my properties in Florida, of course, I never swing a hammer because I'm not there, right? Or in Jersey. But my properties in New York, they because of all the rules and regulations, you got to be a lot more diligent, and be on the job site to oversee things.
Hmm.
Um, because it just they make it so difficult to do business here in general,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to contracting.
So you got to
So
be
it's
there.
yeah, it's you got to be there. You got to
Rough.
be.
That's got to be rough, man. I mean, I know you're there, obviously, but you can't be everywhere at all times. So I'm just
No,
thinking,
I'm not, and I'm not swinging a hammer like I used to, or pick. Look, the reality is this: sometimes I'm doing a job, I don't want to draw attention. Um,
lay low.
so I'm not going to have a dumpster in front of the building because even if I'm doing work that has nothing to do with permits, it's going to cause a building inspector to come in and
Yeah,
knock on the door.
that's
And I
true.
don't want to deal with those people. So, I will literally call up my guys and say, listen, I'm going to be there in a half an hour, have all the garbage on the first floor, and you got 20 minutes to fill up my van. My van will hold 6 yards of garbage. So, and then the following morning on the way in, I'm going to dump it. So, and that dump is going to cost me about 150. So if I get two trips, that's 12 yards of garbage. That dumpster in New York City will cost me like 650 versus me only
Wow,
paying now 300,
wow.
right? And I'm not drawing attention to the job.
So what do you consider yourself as, Dan? Like, so this one I'm buying tomorrow. I'm just like the money guy. I come in and fund it, make sure it all get closed out, and then I'm gone. What do you consider yourself, Dan, when you're doing a new acquisition?
Man, I look at what you and I do. I think most people don't realize what we do. If they've never done it, they think it's glamorous.
Oh
There's
no.
no glamour in this business. But I was watching years ago the first Metrics. You ever watch that movie, The Metrics?
Yeah.
And there was a scene where they were like looking at the screen and they were just moving ideas by, they were just moving this idea here, moving that thing, moving it this way. That's how I feel I am. That's what I feel like I do on a daily basis. I'm just moving ideas around and mix and matching,
Uh,
personalities if you think about it, that's what we're doing on a daily basis. Like if somebody asks me, what do you do for? I remember I go on vacation and people ask me what I do for a living. I'm like,
everything. I do.
depends what time of the day you ask me. Sometimes I'm the guy sweeping in front of the building.
No doubt.
Sometimes I'm the finance guy. Sometimes I'm the attorney. Acting as if I'm an attorney, right?
Mm.
Sometimes I'm the realtor, man. Sometimes I'm the bad guy where I'm firing people. Depends what
Inspector.
time of the day you ask me that question.
It's yeah. So many different things you gotta do, man. Towel, you gotta know towel. And you gotta know a little bit about everything almost.
Yeah, and negotiating, like that's what we do 90% of the time. Well, I wouldn't say that. I say a third of my day is fixing problems, resolving problems. That's a third of my day. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think a lot of issues, man. Matter of fact, Friday had a problem come up. Guy's supposed to redo a bathroom for me, and he's supposed to rip it out. The surround, the tub surround. He goes, you know what, man? This towel here is actually really solid. So I think we could just score it and go around it. I'm like, that's not what we agreed to do. So I started doing more research. I'm glad I got you here now, Dan. I can ask you, what's your opinion on scoring the towel surround if it's real good? Because you know that old stuff is real thick.
I don't let them do it. I rip it out, rip it down to the beam. Because if it's that old, there's probably damage behind that wall that now going to give me the opportunity to fix that damage,
That is
right?
true.
Whether it be rotted wood from water seepage over years, whether it be termite, whether it be that maybe the beams below may have been damaged. So if it's that old, because it's got those old tiles, that means it could be 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
I want to rip everything out anyway.
Mhm.
And what I will do is put in a 5/8 Wonder board, cement board.
Yeah.
Guys, do yourselves a favor. Don't put in that green or blue board. And
Oh,
tile guy's going to tell you the water will never touch it. It always does at
yeah.
some point or another. Yeah,
Oh,
the cement board's a little bit more expensive. Yes, it's more difficult to work with, but there's a reason why it's more expensive. There's a reason why it's more difficult to work with because it lasts longer, right?
yeah, that's true.
So, just do it right.
So yeah, we're buying a townhouse, man, and I actually love buying townhouses. I know a lot of investors kind of stay away from it. Guys, put your questions in for Dan too. I got Dan Borrero. Give him a follow here. What's your channel on YouTube, Dan?
USA Land Ventures,
Yep, give
just
Dan.
like my hat, guys. Just like my hat. USA Land Ventures.
Yeah, give Dan a subscribe on YouTube. Get a question in for Dan, man. You got him here. The man has been in the business since 1989. He's a guy I call if I got any questions. So,
Yeah,
townhouse.
showing my age there, man.
Hey, I'm glad to have you on the speed dial, brother.
There's sometimes when I tell people I've been in the business since 1989, they turn around and say, "Man, I wasn't even born yet," or they'll tell me like, "Oh, I was just going to high school then," like
That's cool. You still got your thing. What do you think about townhouses, Dan? Do
love
you
them.
use them? Don't
I
like
love them. It all depends on the HOA though, right? You got to make sure the HOA has enough reserves. You got to make sure that the HOA is up to par with all the reserves. You want to make sure you're not going to get hit with any special assessments. You want to make
them?
sure the HOA board doesn't have a bunch of Karens on it. That's one of the
Tell people
bad
about
things about
tell
HOA
people about a
boards.
tell them about a special assessment, Dan, because I didn't know that till I got a bill for 2,500.
So what happens is every time you make a payment to your HOA, homeowners association, there's a certain portion of that dollar. Let's say you paid $1. 10 cents is supposed to go to a reserve for the roof replacements 20 years from now, right? So that when they have to replace all those roofs, it's funded. It could be 10 cents has to go to repaving of the parking area. 5 cents is supposed to be going for landscaping. 20 cents supposed to be going for current employees or benefits and or 5 cents may be going towards the office expense for the HOA, whether that be, copy machines, electric, or desk, computers, whatever that is, right? Printers, you know, you got to make sure that all those reserves are up to date. If they are not, you're going to get hit with a special assessment.
Shit, I had one special assessment. I gotta say thanks to my man right here, man. AJ Chelios. Thank you for your love offering. I'm not all the way back. I'm trying, brother. I'm trying, man. I got health issues, man, but we're working on it. Thank you. Dan, special assessments. I've had special assessments pop up. Um, I was doing a deal where there was a code change on the dock. They had to update the dock. One of those.
I think I just lost you, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, neither do I. So what do
The,
you mean by you had to
huh?
update the dock?
It was like they had to change whatever city code it changed, and the dock wasn't whatever it had to do. Right, it was a special assessment. That was one, and then another time. I guess are they supposed to predict or set like you said they set it aside? But what if something pops up that they didn't know was coming? I mean,
Well, that's why you had there's a what if so for every dollar that you pay an HOA, there's a certain percent that's supposed to go into a different account,
oh,
and they're
okay,
supposed to have an account for
gotcha.
emergency funds,
I got
right? So there's supposed to be an account for the insurance for the property. You want to ask, is there an underlying mortgage, and if there is, how many years is left on that underlying mortgage, and what's the interest payment for that underlying
gotcha,
mortgage, right?
gotcha.
What's the service cost for that underlying mortgage? These are all the questions you need to thoroughly find out. And what you should do is not you, you know this already, but your audience, when you're buying either a condo or a townhouse, anything that's in a HOA community, you should make sure you write on the contract that the contract is subject to not only attorney review, but subject to satisfaction review of all the condo documents as well as the condo financials.
That's a good one. HOA bylaws. Hey, we got a question here. Trent Noel says, "What are your thoughts on New Western Real Estate Company, Dan?"
A new what?
It's a hedge fund company, New Western Real Estate. You heard of
I,
these
I
guys?
I don't know enough about it to even
Man,
tell
over
you.
the last few months, brother, I have seen them wholesale probably a house a day in my market, man. I mean, they're just cranking out houses. I don't know where they came from, but I think that they're a phenomenal buyer for you if you're wholesaling. Yes, type in everybody that's watching actually type in New Western, and you can get on their buyers list too. That's a good they're good a good source of leads too.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them. So
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, guys? We'll let Dan get up out of here, man. I just wanted to say hello to y'all. I haven't seen y'all in a month.
we've got 24 people on here. That's pretty good.
Yeah, man. So it is an honor to hang out with you, Dan. Dan, what are you gonna say? What's going on with this new mortgage thing that's hitting tomorrow? I haven't followed it really. I'm trying to wrap my mind around what
Chris, it makes no sense, man. No. Can you? I don't understand it. Can you?
I haven't I have not paid I've been unplugged, Dan, so I don't know what's going on, man.
Uh, sold a house subject to last year, and the bank calling mortgage in.
Oh man. That'd be a good topic to talk about, Douglas.
Yeah, why? You should talk about that, Chris.
I have never had it happen to me, man. Douglas, could you send my team an email? I'd like to bring you on so we could share that with the roundup community because a lot of people don't even know that that could even happen, including me. I'm like, I wouldn't even worry about it. Send me an email at chrisbuyshouses at gmail. Douglas, chrisbuyshouses at gmail so we can share that message out there.
This
Tucker.
thing with what Biden's passing, where you're gonna people who have good credit, people that put down 20%. I don't know the exact numbers. Supposedly, from what I heard, it was 1% more, 1.25% more that you're going to have to pay in fees, and they're going to use that to subsidize mortgages for people that are not putting 20% down or may have a lesser credit score. Um, Listen, I consider myself to be a middle of the ground when it comes to politics. If there was such a party called the Common Sense Party, that's what I would belong to. Um, because
Wow.
one party's so much to the right and the other one's so much to the left. There's no common sense, and this is one of those situations. You
Yeah.
want to punish. You want to punish the people that are out there like Chris and I, paying our bills on time. You know, living below our means so that we could have that 20% down payment, sacrificing, going with things that we really want, but we know that we can't achieve the goal of continuously investing so that we could pay for our kids' colleges eventually, right?
Below your means.
I'm done paying for mine. Actually, my last one's graduating next week, Chris.
Okay.
I can't tell you what a release that is. Um, so what I'm saying is, it's like I feel that they're punishing people who are fiscally responsible
Yeah.
to subsidize the people that have chosen not to be fiscally responsible.
But you know what? Isn't that the American way though? Slow down everything for the slowest person to not get left behind.
And yeah, I disagree with that to an extent, right? Um,
Because think about our whole economy. You could go out there and get a job at McDonald's or wherever, and you could go by. I mean, you could get by and make it by, or you could go out there and earn millions. So our economy is kind of like designed, to keep everybody in the loop. I don't know, man.
See, I disagree. I think our economy. I've always looked at our economy is, like my father used to say, if you need more money, go work harder, right? Um, so that's what I've always loved about this country. That if we wanted to make more money, we can. Like, I know teachers.
You can, but you don't have to.
You
You
don't
don't have
have to,
to.
but I know teachers that work every summer. So they get their regular salary and then they add an additional 3 more months of work to the year because they chose to work every summer. Now, those teachers, they usually then get other businesses or live in bigger houses or have nicer toys, nicer car, better vacations. Then you have teachers that yeah, I ain't working for the summer, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to get by. They're going to do well. And I'm not talking bad about teachers. I'm just using that as an example because that's a profession that you only have to work 180 days a year, right? Now
Mhm.
you have a choice to then on your days off to make more money, and some people choose to and some people don't. But that teacher that chooses to work over the summer, does that mean he should be taxed more because he chose
Yeah,
to get up every day and work?
that's a rough one, man.
That's discouraging people from working. There's a reason why communism never worked, because if I'm going to get paid the same amount the street versus the guy who's actually working studying 12 hours a day to become a doctor, why would I then not just sweep a street and live in the same exact house that the doctor's going to live in without having had studied as hard, right?
True.
Um,
That's true.
so there's a reason why the ideology of Karl Marx doesn't work. The idea of it is actually not, it's not a bad idea, but it will never work because it encourages people not to succeed.
To not work. I think somebody hit it right here. Everyone gets a participation award nowadays.
That's the truth.
MRS with the trucker. Thank you. Much love to you, man. So Trent says they're a real estate broker company. They talk about. Hold on, somebody want to say hello. TT. Hey.
Hey, what's going on, kid?
Hey.
You still got the tags on the new furniture, huh?
Man, we just getting in here, man. Just getting in here, dog.
I know.
All right, Dan. Well, I didn't want nothing, man. I wanted to just hang out with you and say much love to my roundup homies. I'm not out of the weeds yet. I wanted to make sure Dan knows. I've been talking to Dan, but back surgery. Now I got these hives, man. I'm all toe up. We got blood work. So y'all, please keep me in your prayers so we can get back to sharing this content with you. And thank you, Dan.
Good night, everyone.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Take care.
I don't know why I got. What are you? Hey, what you doing? What are you doing? Roundup homies. Much love to y'all, man. Thank you guys. I can't even count how many emails, text messages, all the stuff you guys have sent me. Thank you. You have helped me to get through this crazy time in my life, man. So I got back surgery April 10th. It was a beast. I had a herniated disc. Second one on the same disc on the right side. Hey, TT. Went in, they chopped me up on the back, whatever I got came out. It was extremely painful. And went back to the doctor. last week for some reason, man, I started blowing up. My lips blew up, getting hives all on my body. So I got blood work done. So we're gonna find out. I haven't eaten in 2 days because I don't want to put anything in my mouth. Drinking water. If anybody has any health tips they can give your boy, I'll be happy to take it. All right. So I just giving y'all that. I want to say thank you. I miss talking to y'all. Hopefully, I'll be back in the swing of things real soon with the question of the day and all that stuff. And I look forward to seeing you and blessing you guys with any information that I can give you as I continue to buy houses while I'm laying in the bed. I'm buying a house tomorrow. I'm going to show you how we do that. How the hell do you still keep buying houses broke back, still laying in bed? I want y'all to be able to do the same thing. I really do. That's my mission. Get well. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Douglas. Why do they call it? Get well. Thank you. Thank you. All right, roundup homies. I'll see you guys soon. What are you doing? TT? What you doing? Peace, roundup.